Yeah, we can start.
எல்லாரும் ஜாயின் பண்ணுங்க சார்.
Charan Pinto is pending. Charan has joined. Shivashankari, I'll inform Shivashankari. Rest all joined.
ஓகே. மேபி அந்த குரூப்பில் வேணா போட்டுருங்க.
Yeah.
Okay, then let's get started. So, yeah, I'm just creating a navigation here. And also, I think everyone has to learn how to use the shortcuts in VS Code. I think I told you this before. There is something called as emmet abbreviations, which allows you to fastly create the templates. So yeah, we learned about classes and IDs and how you refer classes and IDs. So class should be referred using a dot in front of the name, and uh, ID should be referred using a hash. So what you can do in the HTML is when you type dot some text, so what happens is it gives you an option. So you can see it says emmet abbreviation, and so it's going to create this div tag with the class equal to text. So dot text is basically something which refers to class. This is a shorthand for creating a div tag with a class. So yeah, so that's how you can do it. This works for any tag. If you want to create something for input, you can do this.
Sir, we are unable to see your screen.
Is it? It shared actually.
No, I can see your screen.
Okay, let me reshare it. Yeah, can you see it now?
Yes, it's visible.
Okay. Yeah, hope everyone can see it. So yeah, here we can create a new tag. Uh, Basically, everything will be created as a div tag if you are specifying on only the only as an ID or a class. So for ID we can do it as hash and ID name. Yeah. So what it does is it will create a property called ID and give it the value which we have given after the hash. So by using this you can easily create things. Not just this. Uh, you can actually create multiple things using these abbreviations. But then I'm not showing that right now. I'll show you how to add an attribute in this, and yeah, here what I need is I would need a few few anchor elements, which will refer me to the other page. So here I have combinators, which is a different HTML page. Now what I'm trying to do is I'm creating the main page, which is going to link us to all the pages which are creating separately. For that, I would need an anchor tag with the text uh, with the link present in the attribute called as href, which is short for hyperreference. So here I can add colon. Yeah, sorry. Here for the anchor tag, I'm going to as add add a class called combinators. Yeah, and I'm going to so the way in which you can add an attribute is by using the square braces, inside which I'll provide href equal to, I'm going to type in combinators dot html, which is going to refer to this file. And when I press enter, yeah, so this is the HTML which is generated for us. And since yeah, this is a simple example, at times you might need to create multiple elements by using this template. So so this is going to be useful when you run into those situations. Yeah, I'm going to open this page. Go live. Yeah, we can see this page, and when I click the combinators, it has taken the combinators.html page, and we are currently viewing the combinators page right now. So let me show you the examples for combinators. I'm adding this sample class because let me first show you a simple example of a class and ID. I'm using the Emmet abbreviation. So how you can use this class and ID is inside the style tag. So always stick to creating a new file for style instead of just writing it here, because the style files will go for like more than 100 or 500 lines. So it is always good to write it inside a style file, which is a CSS file. So here I have a folder structure called assets, inside which I have a folder called styles, where I'm going to create a new file for combinators. .css is the extension of that file. I'm going to save it. Now here inside combinators, I'm going to refer to that file using a tag called link, which we saw this earlier. I just need to provide this shortcut. So when I do that, yeah, it's going to give me a template, and all I need to do is I need to change this href to point that file which we created just now. Yeah, so here I'm referring to that combinators file. I'm saving it. Now what I can do is, yeah, here we can see the text which we have added in the template. Now what we can do is, so to style these elements, previously we saw that we can use this div, which is the tag name, to directly refer the tag and add styles to it. Let's say we are adding a background. Yeah, now you can see that we have added a style to it. The thing is, since both of these elements are having a div tag, the style is added to both the elements. So it's not that. Yeah, let me add a separator here. I'm adding a br so that you can see it's. Yeah, yeah, I hope you can see now. It is added separately for those two tags. But then at times there will be a lot of div tags in our code. And div does not mean anything. So it's just a code, and it can do anything. Maybe you have a card here, or it can be anything. So in that case, what you have to do is you have to give a proper name for this tag, what it does, and then add styles to it. So here we have actually named it as sample class. What you can do is use this name and refer it here to style only that element. So how you can do that is put that name here and prefix it with a dot, which means it is a class. When you hover on this, you can see it automatically says there is some element whose class is sample class, which means that this selector is going to refer to that class. So when I save it, now we can see that it is applied only to the sample class, not to the sample ID, because it does not contain the class, it contains an ID. Yeah, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same for this ID. IDs are referred using a hash and then the name. So this is how you refer ID. One thing which you have to remember always is that an ID value should be used only once. You cannot repeat the usage of ID's value. So in your code throughout, you should find only one sample ID in that page. You can have multiple classes as such. Okay? I can create multiple div elements having the same class, but not multiple divs having the same ID. When I save it, it does not cost. Sorry about that. Yeah, actually it's not going to cause any issues for you, but then it is not how it should be. Yeah, every time every time you create something, always use only the ID's value one time, not multiple times. It is supposed to be unique, I think. Yeah, you can see it here in the definition. So I can refer to the ID as such, and I'm going to add a different background color for this. Let's say teal. Yeah, I've added teal here. So this is how it works. You can refer to any element by using its ID. You have multiple things. You have a tag name, first of all. You have the tag name, which is div. You can refer it using a div. You have the class, which is the sample class, and you have the ID, which is sample ID here. And there are also multiple things. I think we saw that on our last session, where we can refer it even using the attributes value. So here class and ID gives us a special way in which we can refer to elements, but then it is not the only way. Maybe we can have a different attribute, let's say some data, uh, let's say temp. So what we can do is we can take this data temp and I'm commenting all these code, and here, so I told you this is how you refer to an attribute. So in here I'm going to type data temp, and it in this I'm going to type the background color as white. Yeah, I hope you guys can see, or else let me give it a different color. Yeah, I think you can see now what we have done is, instead of referring it with a tag or class or an ID, we have used a property here. So this is an attribute of this HTML element. We have used this element to style it in this way. So this can be used in multiple places where we will have input elements. So as you saw in our last class, we have input elements, but each input element can have different types. So it can be a telephone number, or in or an email, or it can be text as we saw, and also a number. We have such things. In that case, if you want to only style uh, input tag which has a type called text, we would write something like this: input with an attribute called type having a value text. So this is how we would refer it, and inside this we will write the style. So yeah, that's one other usage. So yeah, talking about the combinators now. So I hope that you understood how to use a class and an ID. Does anyone have any question? Okay. Okay, if not, yeah, I'm moving further. I'll talk about the combinators. So we have multiple combinators. In this, first, let me tell about descendant selectors. Sorry, 1 minute. Yeah. So here we have only easy example. Let me create a list here. UL is unordered list. Let me create list items. So I'll show you one example where I can use the Emmet abbreviation here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create a list item, but not one, but 5. So for that I can do li star 5, which will create 5 items. I think you can see that here. So yeah, this actually makes the work a lot simpler. As of now, I'm creating this item 1. When I, and also a good thing is the cursor is in this place. When I type tab, it will move to the next element. Yeah, as you can see, it just moved to the next element. So yeah, here I've created an unordered list, and this list is containing 5 elements. So now, if I want to style the li, I can directly write it like this. Li, let's say color of the text to be red. Yeah, you can see that the effect is seen here. But what if this is an unordered list? I have a different list. Let's say it's an ordered list, and I want the style of it to be in a different way. But then it seems that wherever there is an li, it's going to take that style and apply it to all the elements, which is having a tag called li. In that case, how I can refer to the uh, children of this tag is, you can use ul in front. I'm putting it as ul, which is the unordered list, and then this uh, right angle bracket is going to mean that, which is the greater than symbol. It's going to mean that anything that is coming after this symbol is going to be the children of ul tag. So it is actually the children. There is something called as descendants. I will talk about that next. Now it's going to be the children. So I'm going to put li, which makes that any element who is having any li element who is having a parent of ul is going to get selected in this with this style. So when I save it, if we go back, yeah, we can see that all the elements inside the li tag, sorry, ul tag, which is having a li, is going to get selected. So this is called as a child selector. Yeah. Next we have a descendant selector. So let's say we have a ul. We have an ul already, but I'm going to put an anchor tag here. So I'm going to have its color as green. Okay. So we don't have any anchors yet. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create an anchor tag here. This is going to have item 1. Yeah, I think you can see it here. Instead of the actual text which we had inside the li, I've just removed the text and added this anchor tag inside. But it does not do anything. I've just added this anchor tag. Now, what you can see here is we have referred that this anchor tag could be anywhere inside ul, which makes it as the descendant of ul tag. So meaning that ul is actually an ancestor of anchor tag. So it can be anywhere inside the ul tag, since this is like a tree structure. It can be anywhere inside the ul, and it will find it and apply that style to that tag. But then if I try to change it as children, it won't work. So that is obvious, because here the all we have is the children elements who are built using the li tag. So we do not have any direct children who are anchor tags. So if I take that, you can see that we don't have that style applied to it anymore. That's because we don't have any anchor elements whose style, yeah, sorry, we don't have any anchor elements directly under ul. Now I'm trying to add one here. Yeah, Now you can see what happened is I've added another anchor tag directly under the UL tag, which makes it as a children. So that's how we change this style as. Since it is the child of UL, we got this style applied to it, but then not to its descendants. So this is how you can use the descendant selector. So now when I remove the angle brackets, what happens is everything that is under UL is going to select it along with the one under it and also under its children. Yeah, now we can see both of them are selected. So these are called as selectors. You should remember it's just trying to select any HTML element. Then we have a sibling selector. So siblings are just elements which are next to you. Sibling selector. Let's say, yeah, we have added a new anchor tag here. So in this place, what I'm trying to do is we have the li. What I'm trying to do here is I'm going to select the anchor tag which is next to the li. So I'm adding the style. Let me these two. So this plus means it's going to be a sibling, but it has to be the immediate sibling. It You cannot skip anything in between. It has to be the immediate sibling, or it doesn't work. So here I'm going to add a color, say blue. So since we have that, okay, let's try. I think you can see now. Or else let me pick a different color. Yeah. So what happened is, so this is an li, and after li, I've added a anchor tag. So this anchor tag, sorry, this li is the first thing which we are checking for, and after the li, plus refers to a sibling. So when I hover on this, you can see these are siblings which are next to each other, which come under the same parent. So these two things are under the UL element. So when an li has anchor tag next to it, its style is going to be changed. I can also add. So let me take this anchor and add it after the third element. Let's call it 7. So yeah, you can see this is an li, and next we have the anchor element, so it works. But here we already have an anchor element, but there is no li before it, which means there is no sibling to it. It only has a parent li element, so that's why it did not work. Maybe if I add an li here, it works. Yeah, I think you can see it. So but this is not how a structure will be. I'm just trying to show you the selectors. So all the elements that are coming inside the UL should be of type li. You cannot add anchor inside it. It works, but you should not add. Yeah, yeah, I think siblings, and we also um, this is one. This is a sibling selector. We also have a selector called as general sibling selector. So this is referred as adjacent sibling. General siblings is anyone who is having a specific tag. So let's say have an li. Let me go to a different, I'm creating a div here. So we saw that different types of selectors, right? Here I can use them to create uh, the HTML structure which I need. So here I'm going to create a div element with the children of span of 5 numbers. So yeah, this is what gets created here. Let me comment this because it's not in a proper structure. That's why the formatting was not happening. So we have 5 span elements, I suppose. Yeah, yeah, 5. We have 5 span elements, and I'm going to add a div here first. I'm going to refer it to as first, and then when I use tilde, which refers to a general sibling selector, tilde, and I'm typing span here. So what it does is it will find for this first element, and it will find all the span elements after coming after it, which has to be a sibling of for this first element. So I think you can see, yeah, we have multiple dots because it can be of any numbers, and it can be coming after anything. So it does not have to be the next element that you see. So first, before adding the style, let's go and check what came up here. Yeah, so this is how the span text which we have added is visible. Okay, okay, I did not see this. Yeah, so this is how it is. What I'm trying to do here is I will add a color to this text too, and it is, yeah. Okay, so first I did not add anything in this first element, and you have to understand that so we have added this li plus a. So the style is not trying to be applied for the li element, it's going to be applied for the anchor element, so which is the next sibling of li. In this case too, the style will not be added for the first, it will be added for the span which we are trying to select here. So when I save it, yeah, you can see that we have this div, but its style did not change. Only the elements which are coming after that span element, uh, sorry, after the div element, who are the siblings for this div, are getting changed. And even if I introduce something in between, it works. Yeah, instead of, let me add an anchor tag. I've added an anchor tag, but still the style works. But this is not the case with sibling selector. Let me show that too using this example itself. So here, what it does is, here we have the first uh, an element with the class name as first, and it seeks for a span tag next to it. But then we did not find any span here because first we have the first element, then we have an anchor tag in between, after which we will find the span. So it has to be the next element of the first. So if I remove this anchor tag from here, it will work. Yeah, you can see the very next element to the div tag is getting styled because it is called as an adjacent selector, and it has to be the very next element. It cannot be anywhere after the next element. Yeah, that is all about the combinators. Yeah, do you have any questions? Did you understand it?
Please respond if you have any queries. Please respond.
Does for general selector also the next element only this? No, general selector selects any sibling which comes after this selection. So I think you saw that. So here we had all the elements in that golden color. Let me show that again. So it has to be a tilde symbol. When I do that, yeah, wherever the position is, but it has to be a sibling coming after that element. Okay. So here, yeah, we these 5 text are all span elements. Text 1 is one span and text 2 is another span. So all the span elements coming after it are getting selected here. Yeah, did that answer your question? Yeah, I think it will be faster if you turn on the mic and speak. Yeah. So let's get started with today's agenda. So we have the combinators. What I've planned for here is some styles. I'm going to create a new page called underscore. It's called as background, and it's going to have all the boilerplate code. And also, I'm going to add a anchor. So yeah, I created this file called background, and here there's not much we are going to do in this place. What I'm going to show now is I saw that a few people have used the background property in the CSS. That is very good. But then still, I'm going to talk about it a bit more. So here for the body element, I'm going to try to use the background property. I'm going to create a new style file for this called background.css. And in this, for the body element, I'm going to add a background image to it. So there are multiple ways in which you can add a background image. First is you have to remember background color allows you to add only color. So it can be, yeah, I've added a color here. This, and let me add a element here. Okay, my bad. I did not import that file here. Styles, the background. Yeah, I've imported the background.css, and yeah, it should be visible now. So the thing about background, yeah, we have the background color. Yeah, but the thing about the body element is it is actually wrapping up the whole page, but the style does not work in the same way for other tags. So yeah, this will work only like this for a body tag. We'll see how other elements react to this property which we are trying to add. So first I'm going to add a background here. So background color is only able to add a new color which is going to be a solid color for your background. Solid means a single color with a hex value. It can be also an RGB value which we saw earlier. So here, yeah, here I'm going to add a background. This background can be referred in multiple ways. First, I have an image here inside the images folder. So by typing URL, which is like a function, and inside this you have to specify where this image is located. this image is located inside the folder called images, which is right in the same folder as the styles. So we are trying to refer it from the styles folder. What I'm doing is dot dot slash dot means the current folder, dot dot means the previous folder. So dot dot slash images slash uh, background dot png is the background dot jpg is the file name. Background dot jpg is the file name. Yeah, it actually supports png, jpg, yeah, and multiple formats. You can also add uh, gif formats here. I've added this. Yeah, I think you can see it. We have added the background image, but I hope you notice that what happens here is there is a break. Which what is happening is this whole image is actually repeating itself. So that is the default behavior of the image property. Unless it is not covering the page correctly, we will be seeing this behavior. So what we can do then is we have a property called background repeat. So here, if I specify no repeat, it's not going to repeat that anymore. So it is going to show only the background which it can, and after that it's going to be the default background for your page. Okay. Yeah. Here, this is one thing, and I think you can see there is a space underneath this image because the image size is itself only till this. I can show you. I'm opening the developer tools. Here, if I click and hover on this, okay, so this is actually a CSS property. I won't be able to show it here. Yeah, if I hover on this image, it's going to show me the size of that image, which is 1024 cross 768 pixels. So it is not going to cover up the whole screen size, and so in situations we will obviously need this image to cover up the whole screen. We have one option to do that, which is called background size, and in which we will provide an option called cover. What it does is it's going to stretch this image throughout the page, and yeah, it's going to cover that whole area which is which it is residing. So previously the image was just showing up to its own size, but now it's going to cover the whole area. So the property is background size and the value is cover. We also have one other value here which is called as contain. So what contain is going to do is it's going to take that image. Yeah, behaving, okay. So what contain is doing is at the beginning, if you remember, we have added a text here. So what it is doing is this whole thing is going to be contained inside the element that is under the body tag. Yeah, here we have the body element inside which, okay, now I'm going to add a few other tags. And let's put a header here, background image, and one other tag as a paragraph. I'm saving it. Yeah, I think now you can see what happened is the image has grown in size. That is because what it tries to do is, so we have these contents, and the height, the size, total size. When I try to hover it, you can see that it is occupying this total space. Okay, and what it does is it makes itself fit inside the minimum size in which the element is covering. So here we can see that the width is taken fully because it is a div element. The width is taken completely, but the height is only of the of the content size itself. So what it does is it tries to fit one of its size, either width or height, to something which is equal to the content size. So here content's height is going to be less, so that the image reduced its height proportionately with the width to fit inside this container. Uh, did you actually understand that? It's a bit confusing for me to explain that too. Okay. Okay, if someone okay, so that is one other property which is called as background size, and it can also have a value in percentages like 50%. So it's going to be 50% of the whole page's size. Let me reduce that. It's going to be 30%. Yeah. So this is how 30% would look like. So you can also have values in percentages, not only cover and contain. So that's the background size. Let's keep it as cover. And it is not actually mandatory to embed these in codes. You can just write like this. It will still work, adding a different background image. Yeah, this is a new background. And we have some text here which is not